my name is Christian Edwards, and I will be doing a presentation over the developmental period that I was assigned. So I was assigned early childhood, ages 3 through 6. This period is also referred to as the preschool years. It's kind of when children are starting to learn who they are and create more of a personality. So for the roadmap for this presentation, I have a picture to help me, a movie clip, a poem, a song, a quote, and then the references on where I got these. So to start us off, we have the picture. So this is a picture of my sweet, sweet nephew. His name is Asen Edwards. When I took this picture, it was August 20th, 2018, so he was about 4 years old. I chose this picture because preschools are designed to help children ages 3 through 6 to help expose children from the ages of 3 to 6 to different social and intellectual situations. So whenever he first started preschool, he hadn't really been away from his mom all that much, and then so he didn't really know what it was like to interact with different children. I remember going to the library with him one time, and he just kind of like sat and watched other children play. He didn't really go up and ask if he could play with them, or he didn't even try to interact with them. He kind of looked like he was like socially awkward at times, but I just knew that it was because he hadn't been around children all that much. And then afterwards, after the school year had ended, his whole entire like personality had shifted. He was super outgoing. He could go and talk to anyone that he met. He had no fear of strangers whatsoever. He could do his ABCs. He could write his name. He could spell his name. He could count all the way up to 30. It was like a completely different person. And that's kind of like what preschools are designed for, is to help these children grow more and develop more into adults. So next we have a movie clip. I chose actually a TV series because I couldn't really think of a movie that I felt would portray the ages 3 to 6 very well. So I chose Full House simply because Michelle, throughout the movie, it shows Michelle developing from a baby into, I think it ended when she was like 6 or 7, so it's kind of like perfect for my age group. And in this episode, it's season 3, episode 8, Michelle is demonstrating egocentrism, and so the dialogue, since because I couldn't find a video clip of this actual dialogue, I used a picture with subtitles. And so Danny Tanner goes, "Michelle, do you have a name for the puppy?" And Michelle goes, "Yes, Michelle." And Danny goes, "That's your name." And Michelle goes, "I like my name." And I chose this because children at this age are incapable of taking others into perspective. They have a hard time not understanding that people may not have the same beliefs or understanding as them. So Michelle wants the dog to be just like her because it's all about her, and it's not a selfish thing. It's just something that they don't understand, or it's a concept that they don't grasp, that other people are different and that it's okay to be different. It's okay to be your own person. And so she is like the perfect example of egocentrism. In the next one, we have a poem that I ended up reading. The author is unknown. It's a poem regarding uniqueness and how we're all unique, and I read it earlier. So I will pull that up, maybe. Okay. Okay, so this is going to be the poem that I'm going to read. The author is unknown, but I still found it pretty interesting in that I felt like it applied to the age ranges of 3 to 6 that I was assigned. So, a child is like a butterfly in the wind. Some can fly higher than others, but each one flies the best it can. Why compare one against the other? Each one is different, each one is special, each one is beautiful. So, in case you couldn't hear the video, I will read the poem to you. Maybe. So it goes, "A child is like a butterfly in the wind. Some can fly higher than others, but each one flies the best it can. Why compare one against the other? Each one is different, each one is special, each one is beautiful." And I chose this poem because each child is unique in their own way, and each one handles certain situations also in their own way. The preschool years are when a child is starting to learn who they are, what they like, and regardless of these differences, they're all beautiful. If a child is able to be more sociable, or if a child prefers to, hang back, like just because they're different doesn't mean that one is better than the other. Each one is unique and beautiful in their own way, and I think that's super important for them to understand, because it's not something that's vocalized very often. And this next slide, we have sharing is caring. So I found a song. It's by Coco Melon Nursery Rhymes. It's the Sharing Song. They wrote it on April 24th, 2018. And I chose it because the preschool years are when a child transitions from different types of play. So we have parallel play, which is by themselves. So say they had a box of blocks, and one child has his group of blocks and he's playing by himself. Well, there may be another child that's sitting right next to him, but they don't interact at all. They just play by themselves, separate. There's no interaction whatsoever. And then there's another one called the onlooker play, which is where one child may be playing with these blocks and another child just watches them, which is kind of like what Asen was doing. Like in the story earlier when I took him to the library, he just was watching the children play and wasn't really interacting with them at all. And so as they develop more, they start to transition to associative play, which is interacting with others or like sharing. So I figured that this song was perfect because it helps them understand like why sharing is so important. And I will play a clip of it for you in a second. I won't play the whole thing because it's long, but I will play it at the very beginning. Okay, so I felt like that song was absolutely perfect when it came to explaining that sharing is super important, and children start to learn how to share when they enter the age range of 3 to 6. So last but not really least, we have the quote, "Family is everything." So the greatest happiness is family happiness. The Joyce brothers said this quote. I felt like this quote was applicable because in our textbook it said that it was proven that a strong, healthy, and happy relationship or bond between a child and their parent also helps them have a strong and healthy and happy bond with others. So if a child doesn't have a good relationship with their parent, then they're going to struggle to have relationships with other people, which then comes where kind of like anxiety and depression and social awkwardness comes from. So it's very, very important for children to have such great relationships with their parents, especially at such a very vulnerable age of like the 3 to 6 range, because they're still, just learning, they're still relying on their parents a lot, and yeah. So these are the sources and where I found them. I used my own pictures, the movie clip, the poem, the song, and the quote. I hope you enjoyed my presentation.